Carolyn Dube here, and I'm here with this month's colorful jelly print party. What I'm going to be working on is with fabric this month. A lot of people have asked me, can you use fabric on the Gelli Plate? And the answer is yes. So what I'm doing is getting my paints ready. In these little cups, I have got Liquitex soft bodied, I have got craft paint, I've just got a variety of paints. It's any acrylic paint will work with this. So I'm going to turn these regular acrylic paints into fabric paints by adding some kind of textile medium to them. I imagine every product's a little different, so be sure to read the label on whatever you're using as your textile medium. On the GAC 900 that I'm doing here from Golden, it's a 1-to-1 ratio, but you can tell I didn't measure a thing. I kind of squirted what looks like about 1-to-1. And then I'm just going to mix them up completely. As I finish getting my area set up here, I have my paints already mixed up, and now I'm just kind of organizing things so that I have it all ready to me the way I want it when I get started actually doing the printing. The fabric that I'm using to print on today is a white fabric, and it's, I think, made out of cotton. And since I'm not a fabric person, that's about as far as I can take you on that description. I know it cost me about $4 a yard. But I can't remember if that was before the coupon or after the coupon, so you're just going to have to do some experimenting and see what makes you happy when you're doing it. So I'm all set up, and now it's time to start printing. Well, now I'm going to get the paint from the cup onto the Gelli Plate, and it's really whatever makes you happy and how you want to do that. If these had been in jars of paint, I would have been squirting directly onto the Gelli Plate, but since they're not, I'm just going to kind of pour them from the cups. Because I've added the textile medium to this, and you could tell from watching me stir it up, it's a lot thinner than it was before. And notice all those little lines that are sort of showing up in there. You'll see that actually show up in the print. I'm going to clean my brayer off on that scrap fabric so I can build up some color over there and not waste anything. And when I put the fabric down, it's just like putting it down as if it was paper. And when I lift it up, you can see some of the lines from when I was brayering. And now I've gone in for a ghost print on a different part of the fabric so that I don't waste any of the color or pattern that's on there. And so what I'm doing now is just moving the fabric around, trying to pick up every bit of leftover paint that's on there with the goal of covering up all of the white that's on the fabric. And you can see some parts of the paint where it was thicker, it bleeds through my fabric, and other parts where the fabric or the paint was thinner, it doesn't bleed through. So sometimes on the back side of your fabric, you actually get a really cool print also. Well, here I'm going to come in. I'm going to speed this up a little bit because now that you know how the process works, I'm going to do it with 3 colors on the Gelli Plate to make another piece of patterned fabric. The reason that I've added the GAC 900 to this is so that it's permanent on fabric. And to make it permanent on fabric so it can handle going through the washing machine and all that kind of stuff, you have to heat set it, and there are directions on the bottle for how to do that. And I imagine every textile medium has its own set of rules, so be sure to read the packaging of whatever you're using. I also know that if I'm not going to be washing some fabric, I don't even have to add the GAC 900 to it, because anytime I get paint on fabric, it tends to stain it. That being said, I love that the GAC 900 made it thinner, made it flow a little bit better, so it's going to absorb into that fabric, because the reality is fabric absorbs a lot more than paper does. So should you use a textile medium with your paints on the Gelli Plate and fabric? You know what? It's really up to you and what you like doing. If you want to be able to run it through the wash and have it hold up the best through the laundry, you're probably going to want to add a textile medium. And you may find that you even like how the texture feels even if you're not going to be washing it. Bottom line, experiment, play, see what feels good to you, what gives you the results that you like. What I found when playing with fabric on the Gelli Plate is any of the techniques that I can do with paper, I can do with fabric. So I'm going to use a stencil with it here. And you can also build up layers of color on your fabric just like you would on paper. So as I was putting the paints on here, the stencil that started calling to me was Scribble Scratch. And this is one of my stencils from over at Stencil Girl. And it's very loose, scribbly writing. Gonna come in with a blank piece of fabric because just like with paper, you know that first print is loaded with the richest, brightest, most color or paint. So for this one, I'm gonna pull a lot of that paint up and a lot of that color on this piece. And that's gonna give me a very strong print here. And I love how that all blended together. But there's still more with the ghost print, and there's a lot of paint under there, so I'm going to come in with another piece that was already printed in the same set of colors, And then I'm going to pull up that print and I'm going to layer the colors on there. Well, thanks for being here for another colorful jelly print party. If you'd love to see more jelly prints that people have made and even share yours, I'd love for you to stop by our Google Plus community called the Colorful Playground. And if you'd like to see more videos from me, I'd love it if you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks for being a part of this colorful journey.